What we did, we're combat engineers, so we did route clearance. Basically, we have big vehicles. We drive around looking for the bombs, basically. And that was what we did. We drove out, like there'd be supply convoys coming down from the bigger. We were at a very small camp, and we'd go out to pick up these supply convoys coming from the larger fobs, and we'd escort them back in. We'd clear the route out to go get them, then we'd escort them back in. They'd unload their stuff, and we'd take them back out. And then we did other missions, just going out, just doing route clearance, looking for stuff. Yeah, we were driving out, normal mission, going out to pick up another convoy. We were actually closing down Camp so we were hauling all the equipment and everything we had out of there. So we had a lot of convoys coming in. So we were going out one night to go pick them up, pick up the convoy on their way in, and we're just driving along, and all of a sudden, saw like a big flash to the right, and then the truck shook, and at first we both thought we were okay, the driver and me. We kind of, felt, kind of like, wait, all my limbs are here. I turned to them, I was like, you guys good? Everybody was like, yeah, we're all fine. So we're like, all right, cool, we're good. And then a couple minutes later, my driver, he turned to me, he's like, hey, sir, and he like held up his hand, and it had some blood on it. And I was like, is that yours or mine? He's like, I don't know. So, and then we kind of checked, and I saw my pant leg was torn, and I was like, oh, that's not good. So I kind of felt down, and I could feel like the flesh and bone and stuff. And then, so then he had a little bit, my driver had some shrapnel to his arm and jaw. So we just called it up, said, hey, get the medic up here, and we just went from there. When I was in the aid station back at and one of the head medics there looked back and he said something about enjoying a beer before he does, as in being back in the States. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, it's that bad? And he said, yeah, it's bad. Initially when I got here, they did a handful of surgeries, and they had to go in and basically put all the bones back together, which were destroyed. The kneecap was shattered, my tibia was split vertically, fibula and femur were both broken. So first they went in, and I had like another X-Fix on. Then eventually they took that off, went in and put it all back together. And it was like a hardware store in there. I couldn't put any weight on it they told me 12 weeks. So I was just kind of on one leg, walking around like on a walker, and then eventually I moved to crutches. So for about a week or two, I was actually moving around on crutches pretty well around the hospital. But then there was one spot that just kept leaking. The doctors kept looking at it, and then finally it took me down for another surgery, and they opened it up, and there was a staph infection. What was left of my patella tendon, my original one, was destroyed, and so they had to do it probably about 2 weeks. About every other day I'd have a surgery to go down and clean it out. After the staph infection and all those surgeries, the skin on top of my knee died. So they needed to take a flap of skin from my left leg. A flap is like a real big deal because they need to cut down to the muscle and all that. And so then they picked that up and put it over there. When they did that, somehow I got 2 more infections, Pseudomonas and Anorobacter. With those infections, they went back in and took out all the metal that was in there, most of it. All the internal metal, took it out and put a big X-Fix on the outside, like a big halo sort of thing. And I was wearing that for probably 2 months. I got that out August 27th, and it was about the week before that I could start walking on it. Once we kind of plateau with flexibility, we'll go back in and put the tendon in, and then from there just starting over again, because once we put that in, I can't move it for a while because the tendon's got to grow in there and really set in. So then I've got to work to get all my flexibility back after we do that. Like, everything will be fixed, but it's just a matter of all the trauma it's been through and all that stuff. So, I mean, I talked to my doctor, and he said you can do whatever you want pretty much, as long as you can handle it. We're not limiting you to anything. The support from home's been amazing. My family and Stacy and everybody has just taken care of me to no end, especially when I couldn't move or walk or anything. And then just for other guys, just don't give up. At first they told me I wouldn't run again and all that stuff, and I was like, screw you. And then another football player from West Point, he got hurt I forget when, it was a while ago, and they told him he'd never run, but now he's the pace man for the 5-mile run at Ranger School. So, and hopefully by next fall, Coach Ellerson up at West Point said he wants me to come assistant coach. So hopefully by maybe spring or late spring, summertime, I'll be up there. I can move up there to start coaching. So that's what I plan on, yeah.